What is up, guys? AJ here, and today I bring you a live TFT gameplay. Now, I just thought I'm gonna do this live and really bring you guys to my mindset, so you guys actually know what's going through my mind when I'm going for certain builds or going for certain items or certain champions or you know, all of the aforementioned. Now, obviously, in the first draft pick, you just want to get a champion that is worth 2 gold. If you go for a champion that's worth 1 gold, then it's useless. I've had many occasions where I just sell this 2 gold champion just because I see some better things on the board early game. Now, in this case, actually, Rod of Ages, Varus, we have been, getting quite a good pick here in the early game because I do quite like to stack my Varus. Wow, that is actually, okay, Hextech Gunblade already. That could be interesting. Well, not for Varus, but just item-wise for any other champion. Now, I can go double Fioras, but I do actually prefer to go, I think, for Garen and Tristana. Let me think about this. No, okay. I'll just go for the Fiora, right? Because if I can get her T2 within the upcoming rounds, that is already huge, right? And I could possibly sell my Varus now to actually get this Trist and Garen, but I don't think that's worth because I'm quite fond of getting Varus as a hyper carry, especially if I can stack him with some Tear of Goddess, maybe Spear of Shojin. That is actually going to help me a lot because his ultimate can really change a lot of fights, right? It's a really strong ultimate. Now, actually, Rabadon's on Varus is actually really strong. So, as said, there is already my tier 2 Fiora. What else do I want to get? I'm quite fond of Darius and Kha'Zix as well. I could potentially go for Mordekaiser, which I also like to combine with a Kindred late on. But yeah, right now, I'll just go for Rabadons because, yeah, Rabadons is such a valuable item for me, and I do think that I'm going to stick with this Varus for now. And especially if he can stack his ultimate, that Rabadons will come in and do so much work. Now, if I can get a Tear of Goddess, that would actually be ideal this round, because that means that I have a Spear of Shojin to also put on Varus. Fortunately not, so maybe we can manage to get that in one of the upcoming drafts. Now, in this scenario, there is no real interesting champions for me on this board, right? There's no real combinations I can make. I mean, I could go Void and hope for another Rek'Sai. I can go for Gunslingers, but in this case, I like to buy XP and just put a Kha'Zix on the board because I don't feel like any of these champions will help me with my current build. So in that case, I just like to buy that XP, get 4 champions on the board, just so I can try to secure these early rounds. Because obviously it's going to be a 4 versus 3 champion situation right now. And hopefully I can manage to actually win these early game rounds, which will definitely help my economy. Now, this Varus, it's going to depend on this ultimate, right? Okay, that does a lot of damage. But still, his comp is actually outperforming me because the Warwick got his ult off, so that's a sad thing. So in this case, it was actually, not that good of me to invest for the experience, but I'm going for another Varus, and then I could go for a Noble Gunslinger. I think I'm gonna do that. Just put him on the board, just so I get that bit closer to Noble stack, because now I can still, if I get a Garen in the upcoming rounds, change out this Darius for a Garen, so I get my Noble stacks. Or if I can put a 5th champion on the board, I put the Garen alongside it too, so I get Knight and the Noble buff. So that's something that I'm already preparing in the future and thinking of. Now, this round is looking to be a loss as well. Ooh, Warwick didn't get his ultimate off. Now, it is going to depend on the Varus ultimate damage in this case. But yeah, this Tristana gives his Rage Blade. That is actually taking the piss out of my team. That's a really strong early game item, obviously late game as well. So he's already prepared to stick to that Ginzus till late game, which is definitely good for him. Now, right now I'm actually just gonna swap out my Lucian for this Katarina because it stacks with the Imperial. And that is ever so good for both of these champions, right? Because they deal double damage. Now, that might actually deliver me my win in the upcoming round, just because they have that Imperial buff. So, now it's just a matter of waiting until we get to the second draft pick. As said, if possible, I would like to go for a Tier of Goddess so I can get the Spear of Shojin. So, if there's any champion that wears a Tier of Goddess, then I would definitely prefer to go for that to try and get this Varus as strong as possible, especially once he reaches tier 2. Now, sadly, this round is another loss. Yeah, not much to do. He already has a couple of tier 2s. I only have Fiora as a tier 2, and I don't even think that Fiora will make it to late game in my comp, just simply because I'm not that fond of running nobles. Now, the good thing is we do get first pick. So, there is a Tier of Goddess on the map. Also a Spatula. So, I'll just prefer the Tier of Goddess right now. Normally, I would heavily prefer to go for that Spatula. Maybe it's something that I should have actually done now that I consider. But, yeah. Normally in the second champ rotation, you might want to try and look for a champion that can stack with you so you can make another tier 2 early on. But there's just not that many champions here that would have fit in my comp right now to create a tier 2. So now that I think of it, I have a higher chance of getting a tier out of the Krug rounds than a Spatula. So that's something that I could consider a mistake on my behalf. But actually we're going to upgrade now and put a 5th champion on the board. We're just going to give this to Varus to make him ever stronger. Do we go Garen or Mordekaiser? I think Garen is better to go right now. I could even consider swapping out the Katarina for Lucian, but I won't. Because if I did that, I would get the Noble buff, but I would lose the Imperial buff. Now, this matchup with 5 champions looks like one that I could be able to win. It depends on how soon I actually manage to take down this Warwick, which could be a struggle because he's going to ult now. But that is the Varus. That Varus ult came in clutch. That did so much, and that's why I'm pretty much in love with Varus, with the Spear of Shojin, with the Rebel's Death Cap. Especially if I can stack another tier on it late game, then that is just going to be huge. So in this case, I'll just buy these two, right? Because if I end up not receiving that many Varuses, then I'm going to focus on maybe Lucian or Tristana. And I'm looking to get 3 Assassins with Katarina, Zed, and Kha'Zix. That is one of the combinations that I really like to run. Just so you get the ninja bonus from Zed, you get the Katarina stacking Imperial with Darius as a frontliner, and then you get Kha'Zix in there as another cheap, hopefully tier 3 assassin. So we're looking quite good. I mean, this guy has a Spear of Shojin on Lulu, which is going to probably come in clutch, not for the Morden, no. So that's actually huge for us. Now, hopefully my Varus can actually deal a lot of damage, and he actually did. Now, if my Varus manages to see, he got off another ult, and that is huge. That Varus has won me the round again. So, itemizing my Varus in this early game, even though he's still tier 1, actually already gave me these previous 2 rounds as a win. So that is definitely something that I really like, and that I'm really focused on and happy with. So right now, for this round, I am kind of wondering, what do I do? Do I take out the Katarina for some extra tankiness? I don't think so. Do I want to put in the Noble for the buff? Because this round won't really... Like, my Katarina won't do the necessary damage, I feel like, to take down the Krugs. So I can better put on the Noble buff for this round. So one of these Nobles can survive. And it's Fiora. That's actually good. My Fiora can tank up a lot of damage right now. And the Krugs are actually focusing her. So that's ever so huge for me in this round. That my Fiora has the Noble buff and they are actually focusing her. So that's a good swap for this round. However, I'm looking to go back to the normal player rounds to actually put Katarina in again. Okay, BF Sword. That is not a bad round. I mean, I would have ultimately liked to get some more, but yeah, whenever you get a BF sword, that's always good. Especially if I can manage to get another tier, then that's double spear of Shojin, so he is going to be able to stack his ultimate a lot. Now, I'm actually opting to put in my Kha'Zix just because he's tier 2. Actually, take out the Garen, put in the Katarina. Just so I keep this Imperial buff. Because, yeah, Imperial is preferred for me now, rather than... How am I gonna position this? Like this, I think. Just so my Varus stays safe from any assassins. Now, this Fiora is actually pretty strong as well. He has a Noble buff, he has a Gunslinger buff, a Knight... No, not a Knight buff. So this will actually be a pretty difficult round to win. And then I do also not think that I will win it. Sadly, no. I did put in a good effort though, but yeah, that Fiora is just too strong at this moment. And my comp is far from complete. I only have the Imperial buff now, so... I'm just gonna look what the shop is going to give me in the upcoming rounds, right? Okay, another Kha'Zix. That's good. I'm just economizing right now. Actually gonna move him a bit further. And why I put them further away like this is... My Fiora is in the backline right now, right? So if he has assassins, they will most likely jump this Fiora because they have room on the left side, they have room on the right side. So my Varus remains safe in the upcoming rounds, and my Darius can tank anything that comes up front. I'm actually going to move it around a little bit because my Varus will remain in position. So I can afford to put Darius back a little bit because he doesn't have the direct front line. Yeah, this is probably going to be a huge round for my Varus. He's gonna come in clutch with his ultimate any minute right now. See, that did a whole lot of damage. Now, the sad thing is this Kassadin actually took away his mana. So, he can't actually cast his ultimate another time. If he could have, we would have won that round. But in the early game, I'm not too focused on winning rounds. I'm just more focused on getting my comp together and thinking about what I want to achieve for a comp. I can already tell that this... Lucian will probably not end up in the comp. Maybe the Tristana will. I'm just gonna sell this Lucian for this Tristana. Now, oh wow, 4 Kha'Zixes. That is insane. I'm gonna sell this Garen. He's not gonna come in handy, and I'm actually... Wow. Okay, so what do I take off? I'm actually gonna opt to put in the Zed, just for the... Imperial buff, but that was huge. 4 Kha'Zixes. I'm now only 1 Kha'Zix away from a tier 3 Kha'Zix. That was an insane round. That is something that, yeah, basically rarely happens. You rarely get that opportunity. And I actually misplaced my champions. They actually still managed to focus on my Darius. I mean on my Varus, which is quite sad because he would have still done a lot of damage. But yeah, this round is probably another loss. But right now, as said, I'm still looking just to economize, just to invest, and refreshing there I thought was pretty worth because I needed to figure something out because I was losing rounds already. And I think that maintaining a loss streak is not that good, or maintaining your economy once on a loss streak is not that good. Now, he's probably going to go for the spatula. He is actually not. So if I can get the spatula, I'll be a happy man. I could have opted to go for the Kha'Zix, but right now I just prefer the spatula, right? Because with the spatula I can actually make another one of my champions an assassin, or I can keep this spatula until late game, so I can actually maybe get a second spatula in there for an extra champion on the board. So that is something that I definitely have to start considering. Now I can upgrade my Zed. I can buy let me see, I need to sell this, put down the Katarina on the board, buy this. I'm actually going to invest this round as well, and that is way worth. It's way worth investing that round, purely because I got the that round gave me a tier 2 Zed, tier 2 Katarina, tier 3 Kha'Zix. So that is huge. That is a huge investment, and I'm really happy that I did do that investment because this pairing is actually so strong in the upcoming rounds now. That's gonna do a lot of work. Even though my Varus is dying right now, this trio of assassins should normally take out this Kha'Zix pretty normally. No, actually the Mercurial or the Ginzu's Rage Blade came in huge. So that's a sad one. I might need to consider buying a Phantom Dancer in the upcoming rounds, but I don't have the itemization for that. So that's something that I need to basically figure out until the end of game. What I'm going to do with that. Now, let's see what the game is giving me. Okay, so that's a Varus upgrade. I'm actually gonna opt to put my Varus in front here. Simply because the assassins will jump away. Actually gonna move them out to the middle. Yeah. Because I think this Varus will actually survive. I'm actually going to... I'm already gonna buy the Kindred. If I do end up using this Mordekaiser, then that is something that is well worth. However, I can also... Yeah, I'm also gonna buy this Evelyn, because the Evelyn stacks with the Demon of Varus. Now, the sad thing is Varus is instantly in the front line, but the reason I do that is if his champions are all the way to one side and he has a lot of assassins, those assassins cannot jump my Varus. So it's sad that my Varus died right now, but I have these assassins to make up for it. So that's a huge thing. And that's about, you know, that's just considering what you want out of it, really. It's just making sacrifices, hoping that you make the right ones. That's another Darius I would want to get. I'm looking to sell this Fiora, right? Because I'm not focused on getting getting the Noble stack. So she will probably get out of my comp real soon. Might actually do right now to make my Darius stronger. I'm actually going to do that to get the Knights comp. And then next time I get an upgrade, I can actually put in this Kindred. So this Fiora is a goner right now. And I'm going to stick with this for now. Now his wolves will jump here, yes. Meaning my assassins can go to work on them. Hopefully I can manage to get some good items right now. Okay, not that much. I do get a Renounced Hurricane, which could be potentially good. And then again, I'm also getting a Bloodthirster, which could be pretty useful. So I'm sitting on a Bloodthirster and I'm sitting on a Renounced Hurricane right now. Bloodthirster, Renounced Hurricane. What to do? What to do? I'm actually going to move these guys back just ever so slightly. So the assassins will jump to the side here, hopefully. And this Varus will remain safe. At least that's what I'm hoping for. This guy's running Yordles, which is okay, I guess. I mean, I certainly think that my assassins will go to work. My Varus definitely went to work there. So right now I can actually, I can start focus on economizing, right? Because I had a huge loss streak. That meant that I wasn't really in a position to economize. I really had to invest. But now I can actually economize a bit more because I have three assassins on the board. I have a knight on the board, Imperials. So my comp is looking pretty okay at this stage. I'm actually going to maintain these items until this draft pick round, maybe even until after the Raptors to see what I get. Because if I manage to get another Spatula in the next round, that is huge. Because that means that I can actually... put the Kindred on the board to get the Phantom buff and the Demon buff. Because, the Ranger buff. Because those are two significant bonuses for my Varus, right? At least the Ranger buff is significant for my Varus. The Phantom buff is just very impressive for the team in general. Now, this Pike is really dangerous. That is a very strong Pike. So I definitely hope that my team can... Yep. They have actually eliminated him. So thank you, Assassins, for making sure that that happened. It was actually the #1 that I'm taking out right now. So that shows what kind of a good position I'm in right now. I can economize. I'm still winning. Actually winning from the guy that was highest up the ladder. Round before that, I won from the BDD guy, who was just before this second on the ladder. So yeah, that's definitely significant. Now, I'll just upgrade this Tristana just because I have the economy to do so. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm actually going to utilize this Tristana because I don't have any gunslingers to go with her and I don't have any Yordles to go with her, right? So if I do opt to get this Tristana on the field, then I will most likely have to go for something like a Lucian or a Graves to back it up. Now, Graves is not ideal because obviously they will only... Wow, he has full assassins. He is going full assassin, so that's pretty insane. That gives him a lot of crits. Now, hopefully, my tier 2 and 3s can actually come out on top. Now, okay. So, I'm gonna have to look for a Phantom Dancer, right? To neutralize this guy. Now, I sadly don't have any startup item. I don't have the recurve bow and I don't have the chainmail armor. So, this guy will be someone that we have to really keep in mind for late game, right? He's economized well, he has 50 gold, and he's going full assassins, which is a shitty build, but very annoying for late game. Now, I'm in the last rotation of picks, right? So I already see two very strong items, the static shiv here and the spatula. Now, I do think someone will take the static shiv. They actually have to, right? And these guys are not going for the spatula. So that means that I can actually opt to go for the spatula, which is my preferred choice right now. This spatula is what I'm living for, right? That static shiv, that's okay. I mean, I'd rather have this extra spatula so I can actually get another champion on the board, because that's more worth to me than this actual static shiv, right? So at this point we are actually starting to look quite well, because I'm going to sell this Lissandra. I'm going to put the double spatula on the board, meaning that I can put the Kindred right over here, meaning that we have Phantom and Ranger, and then I'm going to look to put this Evelyn on the board to actually get this Demon on the board as well, and an additional Assassin. So I'm probably going to look for that after this round, that I'm going for my 8th champion on the board. And then I just need to figure out what I'm going to do. I can still come up with the Tristana on the board. I mean, it ultimately really just depends on how it's going, what rotation I get, and how everything is going. Now, this Fiora is pretty strong, but she is no match for my Assassins at this point, luckily. Because that was the Fiora I was actually quite worried about in early game, right? So we're in second position. We're looking quite okay. The only thing that I'm really fearing of is this 7 assessing guy or 6 assessing guy. Now, I do hope someone else is going to take him out. That saves me the trouble of focusing on actually getting a Phantom Dancer. I'm actually in first position right now, so I'm actually not going to invest this round. I'm just going to economize with my 50 gold. I'm just going to be content with that. I still have a Bloodthirster in my bank, but I'm still going to await this Raptors round, right? Because that Raptors round can change a lot. If I get some decent items, then yeah, that's definitely something that that I'm focused on. But for now, I'm quite happy with my comp. It's just about leveling them up right now. And I'm up against this 7 assessing guy again, which is quite a tough cookie to crumble. I mean, even though he has a lot of tier 2s and tier 1s, their crits are just so insane, right? So, as said, I do hope that someone else will take him out. Otherwise, I'm hoping that I'm getting the itemization in this Raptor round to actually manage to get my Phantom Dancer and put that on maybe the Darius, maybe the Mordekaiser. I just have to see who is strongest at that point. And I'm going to have to think about repositioning my champions as well, because this assassin guy, he's all up in this area, right? He's all on the right side, so I can prepare for that, right? I'm actually going to invest a bit this round to see if I can get some matches, right? I'll just go below 40 gold. I do kind of want to get the Zed, so I'm going to sell this Tristana. I don't think she's going to be relevant for my comp whatsoever. And the sooner I can get this Evelyn to tier 3, the better it actually is. To tier 2, I mean, sorry. Now, let's hope that we can get some decent items in this round. Spatula, that is actually pretty solid. Spatula. That means that I can start thinking of running 6 assassins as well, right? I can start running 6 assassins as well, because with the spatula and the BF sword, I can actually create someone that is also an assassin. And that is a huge thing. I'm just gonna invest right now, because my Varus is close to actually leveling up. And I would love for him to actually hit tier 3. Actually, let me just put this Evelyn on the board so I can buy another Varus. And I'm just going to sell this Tristana. I'm not going to utilize her anyways. That's tier 3 Varus, so that's huge. Now next round, I'm actually going to check where I'm going to position everything in case I'm going to go up against this 6 assassin player again, right? Now, this is actually good for me that his assassins did not focus my Varus, because my Varus was taken out of this match. Okay, he still got his ult off, which is huge. Okay, nice. That's a good win. So, I'm looking to... I have 4 assassins on the board. I'm looking to get a 5th in this spatula combination. So that means that I can now start looking for a Rengar somewhere. If I decide to put him on the board. Now, I'm actually going to... put this Varus over here. At least so they have some room to actually focus. I'm gonna put my Eve here as a sacrificial, sacrificial assassin. And then, you know, because this assassin won't jump if they start here, right? So all his troops will probably focus my Evelyn here. She doesn't jump the backline, they will focus the Evelyn, which, as I said, is my sacrificial assassin, because she's still tier 1. I don't really care if she lives or dies, but it means that it keeps all his troops busy. So for me, it's very worth to actually maintain the Evelyn in that position. So as said, right now, I can still focus on getting Zed or Darius to tier 3. Other champions probably not, right? Katarina is very far off getting tier 3. Evelyn is close to tier 2, so if I can do that, that's fine. But I'm now economizing. This is looking well, but I'm now looking to economize, focusing on... I'm actually... You know what? I'm gonna put the assassin buff on my Varus, right? So I now have 5 assassins. I have Ninja through Zed. I have Imperial through Katarina and Darius. I have Ranger through Kindred and Varus. I have Demon through Varus and Evelyn. Knight with Darius and Mordekaiser. And Assassin, these 4, and my my Varus. And then I also have Phantom with my Kindred and my Mordekaiser, obviously. Now, I don't care that that Kindred instantly dies, right? I just have her in there for that actual Phantom buff, which is huge, right? So, the Shen is actually pretty strong, but it should not be a match for these leftover assassins. And that is good. And he is actually mad about my Varus. So that's good, right? I'm getting up in his mind. Now, sadly, there's no assassin amidst here, right? I need to think of what do I have. I have a Megatron Cloak. So what can I combine the Megatron Cloak with that I would really want? I could go for a late game Zephyr. Or I could go for a Silence. I actually opt to go for a Silence. Means with Tear of Goddess and the Megatron Cloak, I can actually build the Silence item, which is pretty good. I think I'm going to put it on my Kha'Zix. The Hush. Now, I can also... I mean, I can still go for Pike as well. I have a couple of options here. Now, I think I'm just going to straight down buy XP. So next round, I have 9 actual champions on the board, of which 6 assassins. So I can match up against his 6 assassins comp. And hopefully I can win the game through that. Now, luckily my Varus still got his ult off. And this is going to... Oh, that silence. That silence was huge for him. Now, he is thinking that he has won the game right now, right? Because he has beaten me right now, and he thinks like, hey, I'm super strong right now. So, I still have the surprise for him, right? Surprise package. Because now, I can actually economize or buy XP. And now I can decide, what do I want to put on the board? I can get 6 assassins, definitely. I think Rengar is the way to go. I'll put my Rengar over here as well, as a sacrificial... as another sacrificial sort of assassin, but this is the huge thing I was focused on right now. Now, I'm actually going to sell this Katarina and this Pike, and now this is where it all depends on, right? My Rengar here, make sure that this assassin can't jump. Now they can't get to my Varus because I have him closed in by the Mordekaiser and the Darius. And now I have the 6 assassin comp that just basically murders his entire comp. So right now I'm definitely on the winning point, right? So I'm just gonna buy this Kindred because if I can make her tier 2, that's always good. And now it's just a matter of, okay, that's a tier 2, that's good. I'm just gonna invest in this Zed. And now it's going to depend on the upcoming rounds as to what I get. Because 1 more Darius and he's tier 3. 2 more Zeds and he's tier 3. 1 more Kindred and he's tier 2. So those are the things I'm focused on right now, right? Maybe if I can get 2 more Rengars to make him tier 2, that's okay. But my Mordekaiser will never get tier 3. My Katarina will never get tier 3. My Evelyn will never get tier 3. So if I see them over here, I'll just skip them, right? I mean, I could potentially buy them, but I'm definitely going to sell them if I cannot... not utilize them, right? And the Phantom is actually really strong against the Dragon as well, because it actually lowers his HP as well. But I do believe that this game is going to be a GG right now. He is having a lot of struggles with the Dragon. He won. But this guy, that's a close fight. That's a very close fight. He nearly lost. So I do dare to say that I'm on the edge of winning this entire matchup, right? Sadly, I don't get any other upgrades. What to do? I think Zed is furthest away. I'm just going to sell him just to try and get my Darius to be leveled up. And I am out of luck. So that's sad. I'm just going to get this recurve bow on my Kha'Zix just for the attack speed. But dare I say that this should be my winning comp right now. And this is basically exactly what I said in one of my recent videos, or my very first video actually, where I discussed positioning and all that, right? My Varus is now boxed in, so his assassins cannot get to my Varus. And I do get lucky with my 2 spatulas, which I did focus on myself. But yeah, that really made it possible for me to properly focus on getting that 9 comp, getting that 6 assassin comp. And this part is actually going to upgrade my Kindred, which is good. And I could potentially look to... Wait, I can sell Darius for 3 gold. No, that was a bug. I'm gonna go for tier 2 Rengar, right? Because I don't think I can get the luck to get another Darius level up. So now, this is pretty much maximized, right? I have all tier 2s, tier 3s. I have so many buffs on it. And 9 champions, right? So it's only Kamal V with me. He did not change anything about his lineup. Again, my Varus is safe over here. My Kindred actually did so much tanking work, right? This is exactly what I meant before. My Kindred actually survived that. Actually made it possible to make sure to get that ultimate off while their assassins are focusing her. So she can save so much time for my other assassins to go to work. But that is it. That's another victory. I'll just show you guys the after screen if it loads. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This was a huge win. I'm glad that I could do this live. I mean, I only had 2 tier 3s, right? So it's not about getting the tier 3s to win. This guy had 3 tier 3s and he still didn't win. This guy was out first. He had 2 tier 3s, right? So sure, I had a lot of tier 2s, but it was mostly my positioning, making sure the Varus is actually boxed in, and then having this entire assassin lineup with the knight bonus from Mordekaiser and Darius, with the phantom bonus, with the imperial bonus. It was just very huge. And then obviously the Varus working well together with the Kindred for a ranged buff and the Evelyn for the demon buff. Now, this was one of my typical games where I really like to have this type of comp in there. Obviously, as said, got lucky with the double spatula, but it's something that you also have to sort of aim for. And I hope this game proves to you that you definitely need to go for the late game comp, right? I was actually on a pretty hefty loss streak in the middle game or early game, but I still committed to my build, and yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you learned something. See you in the next one.